Welcome to Wealth Beyond Your Imagination, the Secrets to Wealth in the Age of Abundance, Part 1. In this first of a three-part presentation on how you can massively scale your wealth in this new era, I want to enable you see the world with a completely new pair of eyes. As Marcel Proust, the French essayist and critic, said, the real journey of discovery consists not in discovering new territories, but in seeing with a new pair of eyes. In part 2, I will show you the mechanics, how to stitch the various elements together to leverage your reach. And in part 3, I will show you how the biggest names out there achieve mind-boggling results that would have been impossible just a few years ago. Are you excited? Let's get started. The world has changed, and unless you change, there's very little anybody can do for you. Perhaps you are doubting your ability and potential. I just want you to know, as Walter Russell, the American polymath, wrote, mediocrity is self-inflicted, genius is self-bestowed. Believe it or not, you are a genius, and it's important you aspire higher. You may not be able to leave a dent on the universe as Steve Jobs, but at least you can make a small fortune for yourself and loved ones. So what is holding you back? Self-limiting beliefs? I said stop whining how bad things are. Just make a little shift in your mental mood and you'll be surprised at what you can achieve. Why is Mark Zuckerberg smiling? Because he is at peace with himself. With a net worth in excess of $19 billion, who would not be? I want to assure you that if Mark Zuckerberg can do it, so can you. My background. Why should I be talking about wealth when I'm not one of the known millionaires? What qualifications do I really have? Is it a classic case of the dictum that says, if you don't know it, teach it? And if you don't really know it, consult on it? Well, I'm only joking here. In a more serious note, I'm talking about wealth because the well-known millionaires will hardly have time to talk about wealth. More importantly, I'm talking about wealth because I know what it takes or what it feels like to be poor. Well, we'll come to that. For now, I just want you to know that I am an ex-banker with over 25 years experience. While in the banking industry, I worked with some of the poorest farmers and some of the wealthiest industrialists. I left banking in 2011 to pursue my dream. Today, I have some of the biggest manufacturing companies and banks in Nigeria as my clients, but my biggest joy comes from helping other people realize their own dreams. As far as family is concerned, I have 6 kids: David, Winnie Mandela, Socrates, Nightingale, Paul Jr., and Athenia. They have all graduated from universities and have struck out on their own. My wife is a lawyer and runs her law firm. So in summary, I have 25 years experience in the banking industry, or financial services industry as some call it, 14 of which were with one of Nigeria's most prestigious banks. You now have sufficient details about my background, so let's dive straight into wealth and how you can create wealth beyond your imagination. How I became a teacher of wealth. I started studying the formula for wealth creation over 10 years ago. As a banker, I became curious when I realized some of my clients were wealthier while I was really struggling. There were times when I could not feed my family. Paying school fees was sometimes an issue. One day, the school authorities actually threw 2 of my kids, Winnie Mandela and Socrates, out of school. The saddest day of my life was the day I came home and met my two kids squatting on the floor, scraping burnt rice from the pot. I went into my bedroom and wept silently. I could not understand. My wife said there was no food. In effect, there was no money. Indeed, it was a catalog of woes. So I purposed in my heart to crack the code for wealth and started immersing myself in every form of wealth training I came across. I crisscrossed the globe, attending seminars. Then the internet came along, rendering all I knew obsolete overnight. I had to relearn all afresh. I enlisted the help of coaches, including my current coach, Dean Hunt. What I am about to share is what my coaches have taught me along the way. In the pictures, you can see me posing with other seminar attendees in one of the recent conferences I attended. How I came into wealth. Today, the combined wealth of my family is in excess of $1 million and continues to grow by the day. You would say not much, but compared to the low of yesteryears, you would agree it's a good beginning. I earn cash flow as an author, seminar leader, coach, speaker, consultant, and information marketer. I have 3 books on Amazon and in over 1,000 other online stores, including Barnes & Noble. My first book, Bridges to the Customer's Heart, is being translated into 10 other languages, including Chinese, Mandarin. I have at least 3 other books on the way, so in effect, the combined cash flow from books alone will further enrich my cash flow in the magnitude of 10 times. My corporate clients list also continues to grow. Meanwhile, I continue to throw every dime I have into fortifying myself through online one-on-one coaching, seminars, and mastermind groups. Let's explore how you too can become wealthy by opening your eyes to what you must know. What you must know. Some people say what you don't know cannot hurt you. On the contrary, I must say what you don't know can kill you. 2 years ago, at a joint book presentation at Silverbird Galleria, one of the presenters, Pastor Olumide Emmanuel, the author of The Pathway to Wealth, said to me, the best income is passive income, and continued, any income that depends solely on you as a person is not passive income. That really struck a chord with me. It's not that I didn't know this basic truth. In fact, I knew, and that's why I channeled all I had into the stock market. I had stocks in all the different market segments for maximum diversification and had nothing to worry about, so I thought. I was happy. I had a balanced stock portfolio, as the eggheads in Harvard would teach you. Harry Markowitz even won a Nobel Prize in economics in acknowledgement of his work on efficient market portfolio. Wait a minute. What happens when there is a total market meltdown? The type that threw the world economy into a tailspin beginning in 2008. My friend, the stock market is not for every Tom and Harry with $50 to spare. The stock market is for capitalists. You need passive income, but you won't get it from the stock market as an opportunistic investor. That is what I want you to know, which takes me to some of the things you may be doing to sabotage your efforts to be wealthy. Why some of the things you do may be sabotaging your efforts to be wealthy. Everybody dreams about wealth, but what have you done concretely in the past 1, 2, or 3 years, say, to bring your dreams to fruition? If you must be wealthy, you must hunger for wealth and pursue it with every fiber of your being, day and night. If someone had told me, pursue wealth with every fiber of your bone, day and night, when I was in paid employment, I would have secretly thought the person was an idiot. Otherwise, he would have seen that I was already doing that. After all, I was working very hard at my day's work. I was that naive. I thought if I worked really hard, the promotions would come rolling in, and within a few short years, I would hit the general manager position, and the balls to wealth would open up. I could visualize all the toys I would become entitled to after breaking through that invisible glass ceiling. So I really worked hard. I literally slept in the office, sometimes closing by 10 p.m. Even when the bank decreed that we close at 7 p.m., I said it was a huge joke. As a risk manager, I rationalized. Who would analyze all the credits from the network of over 200 branches? I needed to show diligence, resilience, and the ability to work hard under pressure as a true professional, as expected in the banking industry. I thought to myself, but the real world doesn't work that way. I didn't know that no matter how hard I worked, the bank would only pay me my salary entitlement as agreed in my employment contract. Besides, I knew nothing about office politics. Hard work alone does not guarantee promotion. As they say, ignorance of the law is no excuse. So get it quite clear. You can never be financially independent if you just continue to work hard without a well-honed wealth building strategy. Richard Branson, in his book Screw It, Let's Do It, said, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be the person who cannot read or write, but the person who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Branson admonished, you should have dreams no matter how modest, and whatever your dream is, go for it. But remember, if you opt for a safe life, you will never experience the thrills of winning. So, in summary, the question is, or the questions are, what have you done to bring your dreams to fruition? Why own the horse when you can own the race horse? Remember who the illiterates of the 21st century will be. Before I zero in on what you need to do to be wealthy, even if you don't fully agree with me, let's explore some of the reasons why people behave the way they do. Why people behave the way they do. People all behave the same. We all do. As we were growing up, the constant reference from our parents were study hard, get a good grade, at least second class upper, so you can get an oil company, merchant bank, or at worst, commercial bank job. While preparing for university or college, as the Americans call it, we all selected, or our parents helped us select the hottest subjects, the ones that would guarantee us a leg up, at least in the labor market. Law, engineering, medicine, accountancy, and architecture. Yet, over 90% of the people in these professions who went to work for others retired mostly in penury. According to Bob Proctor, people behave the way they do because the most powerful force in nature is conformance. Marcus Buckingham of the first Break All the Rules firm put it slightly differently. He said, we are herd animals. In effect, we like to do what every other person is doing. We all wish to conform. We all have the herd instinct. That is why we talk about community, Latin, munus, meaning gift, and cum, meaning together. Yes, we must all conform, for if we try to do otherwise, we may be ostracized. How can you dare to be wealthy in a sea of poverty? How can you dare to own a yacht, a ranch, go on holidays, fly first class, and send your kids to the best schools money can buy, when everybody else is doing rat race and making do by cutting corners, cutting costs, eking out a living, and unfortunately, sometimes dying young? So, at the roots of the reasons why we do not like to try new things why we don't like to think differently, and why we don't like to take risks is because we are all herd animals. We like to conform. We like to do what every other person is doing, even if it makes no sense. Until you switch from the mental mode that says conform and accept the fact that being different, pursuing your passion, and aspiring to be the best that you can be may waste your potential. If I must tell you, it's time you heeded Shakespeare's advice. Be not afraid of greatness. Some are born great. Some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. For those of us who were not born great or had greatness thrust upon us, we must go out there and achieve greatness. Before we zero in on things we must do to be wealthy, let's review the 3 imperatives we must never forget. Today, when the world is indeed flat, thanks to technology, the key really is not about the important things you must remember, but as Marcus Buckingham points out, it's about the few imperatives you must never forget. The few imperatives are principles, philosophy, and formula. Individually and collectively, principles, philosophy, and formula influence for better or for worse the attainment of wealth. If you do not fully understand the influence of these constructs, you will never be wealthy. Let's look at them individually. Principles. Sometimes people refer to principles as rules or laws. No matter how you refer to them, they operate all the same and they are universal. That's why they are laws, like the law of gravity and electricity. For gravity, anything that falls comes down to earth. And for electricity, if you put your bare hand in electric current, you are electrocuted instantly. Put nails near a magnet, they will be instantly attracted once they enter the magnetic field. If you infringe laws or rules, you get punished, penalized, or sanctioned, sometimes severely. It doesn't matter whether you are old, young, poor, rich, educated, or illiterate. You must never forget principles. If you forget any of the rules regarding wealth, your success in wealth creation will be severely circumscribed, and any success you achieve will be short-lived. These principles include trust, integrity, and honesty. Beware, you can't infringe principles. Let's look at philosophy. Philosophies are what people postulate and differ from culture to culture and from generation to generation. While principles are unchangeable and unchanging, philosophies do change. An example of philosophy is the concept of destiny. In the olden days, you were expected to accept your destiny. The concept of destiny was like a rule or principle. Now we know better, thanks to Viktor Frankl. We know man is the architect of his destiny. So, know the broad philosophies, but don't be weighed down by them. Do not be weighed down by the philosophy that says pursuing wealth is bad because money is the root of all evils. Forget or ignore gurus that propound philosophies and say theirs are the universal truths. Choose the philosophies you wish to adhere to carefully and use them as compasses to navigate life. Next, we look at formula. Sometimes formula is equated or taken as synonymous with principle, but it is not. Unlike principle, formula is not universal. Formula is a secret you employ to gain advantage over the competition or to master your environment. Every company, family, and even individuals must have formulae or secrets to protect their interests. To make money, you must not only know, but must master the basic formula for wealth. If you don't, you will be forced to work for or sell yourself to those who know the formula for making money as an employee and regrettably retire or die poor or at best live an unfulfilled life. To acquire, master, and deploy the formula for wealth, you need a guide, mentor, or a coach to unlock for you the secrets. General education will not suffice, otherwise everyone would be wealthy, which takes us to the three imperatives for wealth. The old formula for making money and creating wealth was to have capacity and knowledge. If you had capital and knowledge in the 18th or 19th century, like Henry Ford, Andrew Carnegie, or Carl Benz, you could set up a plant and produce cars or manufacture steel, and you could become very rich. But today, knowledge is very pervasive. Knowledge is everywhere. Just go to the internet. You can get all the knowledge you need in Wikipedia and other places. If knowledge was truly the determining factor, university dons would be the richest people on earth, but they are not. University dons get paid even less than investment bankers they taught in school, just to mention one example. So there are some missing ingredients. There are three. If you have the three of them going in the same direction, reinforcing each other, you can be insanely wealthy. I reveal the three of them here briefly. They are what we call the three F's: faith, fire, and focus. Let's review them quickly. This is not religious faith. The faith we are talking about here has to do with your values, beliefs, outlook to life. Do you believe that it is wrong to pursue wealth with all the fiber of your being because money is the root of all evil? Do you believe that pursuing money and wealth is wrong because only greedy people do that? Do you believe that your parents or uncles did not pursue wealth with all the fiber in their body and survived, so you too can survive? Well, you are being misguided by someone else's philosophy that may come back to haunt you. To prepare for the journey for wealth, you must cleanse your belief system and attune to your environment and the new reality. Fire. Fire refers to passion, drive, and energy. You must really be fired up to go out there and become massively wealthy, no matter what it takes. The fire must really burn in your heart, and you must never be contented with your current situation. Some people, when they find themselves in a rut, blame others. They blame their parents. They blame their destiny. They blame the economy. They blame fate for dealing them a bad hand. They will blame everything under the sun except themselves. How naive. To break free and run, you must stoke the fire of your passion day and night, following Les Brown's dictum: it's not over until you win. Focus. The last thing you must have is focus. This is the laser-like quality that propels you forward and enables you to zero in single-mindedly on what you wish to achieve. If you investigate massively successful people, the one thing that sets them apart from the rest is the discipline to focus. People with focus instinctively know what they want and focus on it single-mindedly and are never diverted to other nice-to-do endeavors. Some people make the mistake of getting diverted into seeking more knowledge instead of focusing their energies on doing things that could help them build their wealth. You may get all the degrees in this world, but don't forget, they may not necessarily make you wealthy. Only focus on activities aimed at wealth creation will make you massively wealthy. Let's look at the 11 critical hooks you must master to point you in the direction of wealth. The 11 critical hooks for wealth creation. Master these 11 hooks and you will be wealthy forever. I didn't include networking and get education because networking has limited validity. Until all the hooks listed here have been satisfied, networking may not see you far. On the other hand, education, properly situated, as we have already said, is a universal. That is a principle. You need education to bolster your confidence and master philosophies, but it may not necessarily make you wealthy if you go to work for somebody else. If you look very closely, the most educated people are not necessarily the wealthiest. In fact, I make bold to say education, sad but true, makes no difference to making wealth today. You must master the 11 hooks, as weakness in one may undermine your overall age. Let's quickly review the 11 hooks. First, future. Focus single-mindedly on the future. Some people spend all their energies focusing on the past, such as the hurts people have inflicted on them and their past failures. Rather than needlessly dissipating this mental energy into unproductive self-pity, focus on the possibilities that lie ahead. Map out your future. Design your roadmap, how to get there, and channel all your energies towards its achievement. Remember Thomas Edison, one of the world's greatest inventors. Though he failed almost 10,000 times in his bid to invent the incandescent bulb, he never wavered. He remained committed and focused on the future and the task at hand until he prevailed. 2. Read. Brian Tracy postulated that if you read 1 hour per day in a subject area you love, within 5 years, you will be the most knowledgeable person in the world in that subject. Personally, I started practicing that, and within a few years, I became a top expert in customer service. I may not be in the same class as Tom Peters globally, but in my little neck of wood, I'm the guru. My book, Bridges to the Customer's Heart, attests to that. So find the area you love or have passion for and start reading 1 hour per day. And before long, you will be a sought after guru and can start charging premium fee for your effort like Tom Peters. Tom reads voraciously. Speak. Learn to speak to reduce your inhibitions and generate self-confidence. Self-confidence will banish fear, and once you master fear, you are on your way to greatness. All the greatest men in all of history were great communicators. Cicero, Demosthenes, Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela. Join Toastmasters or any rated speakers club near you. If I may tell you, I'm not a natural good speaker, so I joined Toastmasters club to master at least the basics. Join the Toastmasters club and see how your success skyrockets, so long as you don't ignore the other hooks. 4. Decide. Decide has 3 dimensions: But in this instance, we are concerned only with you deciding what you want to become a master of. Some gurus may ask you to visualize how you want your future to be. That mixes up cause and effect. What you can be or will be is the outcome, that is, the effects of the steps, that is, the causes that will bring it to be. Just focus on the doing, decide what you want to do, and the being will naturally follow. If you have so many passions and cannot really decide what to focus on, your coach should be able to give you simple tests to help you make the right decision. Play to your strengths and avoid areas you don't have natural talent for. 5. Mastery. Master one thing. Be known all over the world, at least your small world, as the master of that one thing. Know 10, 5, or 3 things well, but master just one. Remember, Bill Gates knows many things well, but he mastered just one thing: software. What are you unequivocally known for? Malcolm Gladwell says, to gain mastery of any subject requires a minimum of 10,000 man-hours of practice to reach the tipping point. Are you willing to put in or invest 10,000 man-hours to master your passion? Think about that. Number 6, CSF. Closely aligned to mastery is CSF, which stands for Critical Success Factor. We earlier talked about the 3 imperatives you must never forget, which included principle, philosophy, and formula. It is formula we are talking about here under CSF. Every business, industry, field of endeavor has its secrets. Know them, master them. Do you know the top 3 secrets for success in your field? If you do not know the secrets of something, how can you master it? You are not likely to get the CSF of mastering the internet in a textbook, except practice. What you wish to master is not in a textbook. I repeat, you must invest hours to practicing and practicing and you will achieve success. 7. Measure. Measure your progress. Recalibrate your course once in a while. Be truthful to yourself and avoid self-denial. Every once in a while, benchmark yourself against the best in your industry. Are you seen and regarded as amongst the top 10 in your field? Visualize a matrix with 4 quadrants. Aim to be in the upper end of the topmost right-hand quadrant, the quadrant of excellence. If you cannot make this quadrant, then you may be struggling. Go back and review whether you took the right decision as far as the decide hook was concerned until you get it right. Right. Keep tab. Keep tab of the developments in your industry. Tune your antennae to your environment. Things change so fast and sometimes so fundamentally these days that if you don't keep tab, you may become a dinosaur. Experts say the half-life of knowledge, that is, how long it takes current knowledge to become obsolete these days, is 6 months. In fact, it's closer to 3 months. Unless you are willing to invest in the future, you may underperform. Keep tab and work tirelessly to stay current. 9. Announce. Announce your arrival in your industry or area of mastery by your fruits. Remember, by their fruits ye shall know them. What can you do to announce your arrival? Be number one, or at least in the top 10 in your industry. Be the de facto standard in your industry. Win a Nobel Prize. Write a global bestseller like Tom Peters and Stephen Covey. Write hit songs like late pop star Michael Jackson. Don't seek publicity by jumping from one television or radio show to another, or you'll soon become a commodity. In fact, be publicity shy. Sometimes, if you are in a team, break away and go solo. Michael Jackson did that. He broke away from the then Jackson's 5. Lionel Richie did the same. He broke away from the Commodores. Beyonce did that. She broke away from Destiny's Child. And Victoria Beckham did that. She broke away from the Spice Girls. By the time you have arrived, you will have a cult-like followership. Tribes, as Seth Godin puts it, willing to buy your products without prompting. That is how you announce your arrival on the scene, and not the other way around. Announcing your arrival may require marketing savvy. Immediately you announce your arrival at the scene, follow up with the next step. Proof. Proof you are not just a fly-by-night success, a fluke, or a flash in the pan. Come out with more success stories like Apple, iMac, iPod, iPhone, iPad, iTunes. Apple comes out with cool products and apps year in and year out because Apple wishes to be known as the most innovative company on earth and not the biggest as Microsoft. If you are an author, come out with 2, 3, 4 blockbusters like Tom Peters. In Search of Excellence with Bob Waterman Jr. Passion for Excellence with Nancy Austin. Thriving on Chaos, Liberation Management, The Cycle of Innovation, and so on. It's such messianic output that attracts a following and guru status. Ever wonder why Tom is called the Uber Guru? Can you remember the number of blockbusters Michael Jackson had under his belt? So many. That's why he became a legend, even in his lifetime. Prodigious output is your proof of resilience, that you have come to stay, and that you have a teachable point of view that will logically take you to the final step. And earn the respect of other gurus in your industry. As Chinua Achebe said in Things Fall Apart, when a child has washed his hands, he can eat with elders. When you have announced your arrival by your output and have been accepted in your industry with a tribe running into tens of thousands or millions, you can then go ahead and start earning money by charging premium fee for your expertise, and your tribesmen will be lining up to listen to you and buy your products. Can you see how it all adds up? You earn respect, prestige, and honor by your fruits, and the money starts massively rolling in. That is how men such as Jack Canfield, Tony Robbins, Brendan Burchard, to mention but 3, have become mega stars and legends. Finally, one last thing you must do: overcome fear. Some psychologists call this mental interference. Fear applies everywhere, but it manifests most dramatically in the field of sports, like during penalty shootouts in football or soccer. Players that lack mental strength collapse at such critical moments. If you remember the UEFA semi-final match between Chelsea and Barcelona in 2009, during the penalty shootout, John Terry, the Chelsea captain at the time, buckled and lost his crucial kick. and Chelsea lost. Yet, in the 2012 UEFA epic final between the same Chelsea and Bayern Munich, Bayern threw away a 2-point lead during the penalty shootout by losing 3 shots in a row, allowing Chelsea to draw level and win the championship by scoring the crucial final kick taken by the matchmaker Didier Drogba. Fear plays out in all our lives. We are afraid of failure. We are afraid of mistakes. We are afraid of success. The reason we are afraid is because we focus on ourselves rather on the endeavor at hand or the end result. So learn to control fear and you control your destiny. Remember what Christ told the apostles during the storm on the Sea of Galilee. Fear not. The best and most successful people in life learn to control fear and channel it into accomplishment. Bill Gates was not afraid to leave Harvard to pursue his dream. When Steve Jobs was sacked from Apple, the company he co-founded, he didn't wallow in self-pity and moaned the world had come to an end. He went and founded Next Computer. Success is never final, neither is failure. Success is a journey, and unless you have the mental toughness to overcome all manners of mental interference or fear, you may not last the distance. The one absolute you must do: take massive action. Some gurus will say take risk. It's one and the same thing. Risk is the flip side of action. When you take action 1 out of 10 times, you will win. The more actions you take, the more your chances of winning. If you don't take action, it means you've ruled yourself out of the game of life. No action, no win. No risk, no return. The more actions you take, the greater your chances of winning. The higher your risks, the higher your return. Take action today and start pursuing your dreams. Some people buy books, attend conferences and seminars, but never take action to do anything. When you ask them what they are waiting for, they tell you they are waiting for the right moment. My friend, there's never a right moment. The best time to have started, as the Chinese would say, was 20 years ago. The next best time is now. Neither a pessimist nor an optimist be. Just be you. Be a realist. The world will never get better until you get better. Do not wait until you are old enough, educated enough, or high in the corporate ladder enough. Take action today. Call your coach today, but don't call your coach just yet. Have you mastered 11 books? Start there, and within 12 months, you'll be amazed at what you have accomplished, and at that time point, you may decide to call your coach. My mentor once told me, Paul, it's not the people that you know, it's how much those people know you. So stop unnecessary busybody trying to network when you have not mastered the basics, like the 11 books. The people you are trying to network with will see through your pretense, presumptuousness, and immaturity, and will call your bluff. You will be treated as an imposter because you do not yet belong. So forget about networking, which has to do with the outside. Begin from the inside. You. My final advice. The things I have said here are what have worked for me. You don't have to follow my example or trajectory, but beware, you cannot rediscover the wheel. That will be time-consuming, inefficient, and outrightly ineffective, as the time you would have spent in growing your wealth would have been frittered away on experiments. Avoid charlatans. Discover your passion. Take action on your passion. We can lie with our words, but we cannot lie with our actions. Work hard on what you have passion for. Know that problems are opportunities in workmen's clothes. So seize opportunities that suit your temperament. Set up your seminar company like Jack Canfield. Set up your television show like Oprah. Set up your clothes line like Victoria Beckham. Join a good or growing network marketing company for excellent passive income. Or set up a stake in the internet empire to run on autopilot. If you do all this, even while still working, you will be guaranteed excellent income within 18 months and a life you can only dream of within 3 years if you are consistent. If you do, even while still working, you will be guaranteed excellent income within 18 months and a life you can only dream of within 3 years if you are consistent. Manage your activities to conserve time because time is absolutely inelastic. If you follow the rules I have enunciated here, you will be wealthy beyond your imagination and will move from ordinary to extraordinary and from useful to invaluable. Follow these steps and success will come. It must surely come. Now it's up to you. Bye and thanks for listening.